beautiful.
You're gonna cut that, aren't you?
Yeah. Okay, so welcome to this first episode of Football Mate. As we have been talking with Sofia, my co-host, this is a show just to talk about football. It's not about who is better, Messi, Cristiano, this team, the other. We don't care about that. Football is a passion, it's the sport we love, and what we found in common is that regardless where you come from, there's something that takes you to that love. And then this show is about telling those stories, those particular stories, a lot, learn about the different cultures, where are the gaps, where are the similarities, and basically trying to have fun.
Yeah.
My name is Juan Berizo, my co-host Sofia.
Sophia Arkenstall.
And today we have a guest from Argentina, Felipe. Thanks for coming.
No, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure, and we hope we have fun together.
Well, we are nervous. We don't know what the hell we are doing. I'm going to be moving the whole time, but the idea is to make it as natural as possible. So basically, nothing. I came to Australia 5 years ago, and I found football in Australia is living such a different way from Argentina, where I'm from, where football is everything. We love football. So I met Sofia.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think we were talking before, and the way I grew up was different to the way you grew up with football. I think in Australia we certainly love football or soccer. I'm not fussed what we call it sometimes, as long as everyone enjoys it. But there are a lot of competing sports, and I think football in Australia is reaching that maturity, and we are growing, and I'm so excited to be part of this, because I think it's an awesome way to explore football in Australia, and the way it's growing. And to hear about like the South American
Our background is already down.
Yeah.
We do have to improve. Sorry about that.
Yeah, like that part of the culture. So there's a lot that we can learn, I think. And when we met, that was one of the first things you said was, I guess, the differences and the way that maybe sometimes our approach to growing the game is possibly too business focused, rather than that passion and that fan experience.
So I should have explained it before. We are going to having weekly guests coming from all over the world and tell their own experience and how their life crossed path with football. So every life we are all different, every life is different, so each experience is different. Today, Felipe, how are you? Which is
guys.
welcome. Thank you for this and for this pilot. Felipe has a particular story, and the idea is trying to connect those stories with our life stories. For those who know Argentina, if you know Argentina, if you ever heard of it, most likely you must have heard from Buenos Aires, our capital city, which is basically 1/4 of the population. Felipe is from countries, Tres Arroyos. It's a countryside. So, how is it?
We have a famous team anywhere in Tres Arroyos.
I wouldn't say famous.
What's your team?
No, it isn't my team, but
Okay.
it's the team in the city. And it's called Huracán de Tres Arroyos, because there are different Huracans clubs in Argentina, and this is from Tres Arroyos. And it's a little team, but they played in the first division once, so it became really famous for the rest of the country,
For put you a little bit of context, Buenos Aires is a 12 million city. Tres Arroyos, how many?
We must be 50,000.
50,000. Okay.
Yeah.
And to put it in context as well, Buenos Aires, this is a fact, is the city in the world with the more amount of football clubs in the world, right?
Wow.
And so the competition achieving the first division is massive. For a 50,000 person town, it's massive.
Unbelievable. So it
That's
was
awesome.
kind of great experience to see that, even though I don't go for them, like I had my team already, but it was great for the city.
So how is, sorry.
Oh no, who is your team?
My team is River Plate.
River
Yeah.
Plate.
Yeah.
Okay.
We are kind of happy today because actually Boca, which is the opposite one, they lost and they are not playing the Libertadores. So that's a kind of, we were speaking about that before, that's kind of the way we live it in Argentina as well, with all of the respect to those opposite ones, but we really enjoy
the
that they are out, you know. Yeah.
So that's a big rivalry.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Massive rivalry.
In my case, it's about like I like my team to win. If my team doesn't win, I don't want the other ones to win.
Yeah, no, I get that.
That's the way.
Makes sense.
So that's the first thing that comes to my mind. How is it growing up in a small town that doesn't have a big club that usually plays there, right? I'm from Buenos Aires, by the way, I haven't mentioned that. And I'm from River Plate as well, so I was able to go to the stadium to watch my team and everything, but that's not your case. You live.
No, absolutely.
Tres Arroyos is how far away from Buenos Aires?
5 hours by car. Yeah, it's 500 kilometers. Yeah.
Wow.
So
Okay.
it's kind of well, what I can remember, it's that first of all, my father is from Buenos Aires, from the capital city, and he goes as well for River, and he used to go to the stadium like every weekend. So in my house, we are used to be like paying attention to the matches and when River plays, and all that stuff. I don't know if you remember, but when we were children, we couldn't like see the matches
It
alive.
was pay-per-view.
Exactly.
Wow.
So,
okay.
but no, yeah, it was that. But if you didn't pay, you had to wait until Sundays night. There was a kind of specific show, and after that shows, the rest of the television shows could watch. Could like forecast the matches and all the stuff around football, around soccer.
Wow.
So I can remember being like with my dad in his room waiting for that show to see the place of River and see how it went and all that stuff. So
Wow.
that's pretty much particular, I think.
Yeah, listening to on the radio,
Absolutely.
something that is
Yeah.
unimaginable today,
Yeah.
right?
Absolutely.
Like you have phones, tablets, so many media that you
Yeah.
can watch it, right? We used to listen and imagine the matches on the
Absolutely.
radio.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no,
Well,
that's
that's-
definitely what my family did previously as well. Particularly when watching sport in Europe. Like my dad goes for Aston Villa, so
Okay.
he would tell me that he would watch it on SBS sometimes when they had the Premier League. But before that, he would listen to it on the radio.
Yeah.
And before that, it was like, or if it wasn't on the radio, you could he would read the live streaming notes.
Okay.
So on the news
Yeah.
channel would just be like writing, this happened, this happened, this
Yeah.
happened. So you follow along with all
Well,
of
we
the...
didn't have that yet. I'm
No,
talking
no,
to
way before.
the time
Yeah.
before. Yeah.
Argentina is a less developed country, let's put it that way.
Yeah.
And
So yeah, it was like that, like the relationship the relation with the sport was a kind of family thing, and playing around with friends, in the city. We were all the time playing in the street, we didn't need like
Yeah.
a kind of specific place or anything like that. We could be playing anywhere. Besides sometimes a kind of train rail, and the train just passes by, and we were playing there,
yeah.
and it was like that.
Anything was a goal.
Absolutely, yeah, jumper, two
Yeah,
jumpers
okay.
for us was enough,
Yeah.
and the ball, and sometimes the ball wasn't a ball, it was a kind of some pieces of paper
Yeah,
with the
okay.
tape, and you
Yeah.
made something that could last at least that day, and we played with that.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
I do remember, I live in Buenos Aires, which is basically a big country city. You don't have many open places, so I have to play football on the school breaks, on the gymnasium, and our ball was the juice box.
Okay, yeah.
So the
Yeah.
apple, the orange one that you
Yeah.
finish, right?
Yeah.
After all, you make it a ball, but it's carton, so
Yeah,
it can
wow.
only last
Yeah.
5 minutes, and after that, because we step on it and stuff, we used to stop it blow it, like to make it again, and we were all stepping on it. It was
That's crazy.
horrible.
Yeah. Well, I think like my friend told me she was in an academy
Okay.
in Leeds, and they played with tennis balls because it made you better.
Yeah.
Because you have so much control when you play with like a different ball. 'Cause
Okay.
It's so small. Like the juice box is so small, you probably get a little
Yeah.
bit
The juice box,
Better skills.
better skill.
the ball flows. The juke box was just, I don't know. And
Yeah.
someday some of my friends would bring like a paper one with duct tape, like a really good one. But that one was used to be harder. So
Yeah.
like if you kick it really hard, someone could be injured. So
Absolutely.
the
Yeah.
teachers used to take that away from you.
Yeah.
Wow.
Absolutely.
So the juice box was.
Yeah. And I can remember as well, going to your question, that when we went to Buenos Aires to visit our family, we were like kind of trapped, you know. We needed we needed to do something
Okay.
that we were, you know, used to do in our city. So my grandfather, I can remember, he had a kind of fishing shop,
Yeah.
and we wanted to play soccer, and he was like, "There's no way to play here." So he made for us that kind of tape and paper
Wow.
ball,
Wow.
and we played in the street in Buenos Aires. But he was so nervous because it wasn't like in Tres Arroyos, you know. Buenos Aires, it's like
Okay.
buses and cars all the time. So he was like paying attention and looking after us
Wow.
because we were in the street, you know, like
Sorry, but I
in
have
the
to
veranda.
a fishing store in Buenos Aires.
Yeah, that was funny. It's funny, but yeah, he did.
And this is where we need to put what Buenos Aires is in the back screen.
Yeah, I will
It-
bring
like,
my charger next time.
don't worry,
I'll have to
fishing and Buenos Aires
Yeah.
is not hand in hand. It's
I
like
guess there are too many people in Buenos Aires, too much people who just go away, you know, to
Yeah,
the rivers,
yeah,
to the
okay.
delta, to the
Yeah,
and that stuff, you know,
Wow.
and they goodbye something, you know, to
yeah. Let's say it's not common.
yeah, not
I
It's
so
will-
very uncommon.
I will say, sometimes I would play soccer with a basketball. So
That's a hard one.
That's
it's
it must
hard.
be hard as well.
It's hard. Like it would hurt my feet. Sometimes I would maybe it'd be after school and I would have my shoes off and then my feet would be sore. But that was a nice alternative. Or yeah, I wouldn't play soccer with the rugby ball, but I would still practice some rugby sometimes, like
Yeah.
kicking.
What do you do? What do Aussies do in the school break between classes? Like we used to have breaks of 30 minutes, 20
Yeah.
minutes between
Well,
classes.
Different people would probably say different things. Like in primary school, so when I'm quite young, I we would play handball,
Okay.
but like like handball, not European handball.
Okay.
But so we'd do that, or we would just like play chasey and like,
Yeah,
run
yeah.
around.
Pretty common.
Pretty
Don't worry.
Just run around. In high school though, like I went to an all girls school.
What? Sorry.
So a school just with girls.
Okay.
Okay.
So
That's cool. Yeah.
like I know maybe at my brother's school, like he went to a school for boys, so they would play. It's probably easier to play basketball,
Yeah.
but they were
Netball
most.
or not netball? No?
Netball is more girls, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So for me, I would during the break, I wouldn't. I don't know. It'd usually be before school that I would play. I don't know. I'd do swimming or tennis before
Yeah.
school, and then after school, I would do like I'd be in a football team, I'd be in a soccer team, and I'd train. But in between classes and like lunchtime, and there was a wall. There was a wall, and sometimes maybe we would kick a ball against a wall,
Okay.
but
Yeah.
not that often. If anything, I would like people would play tennis against the wall.
Yeah.
In my experience, it was always football, and you were waiting for a break, and we divided first within my class, within teams. So whoever ends up being the goalie, in a sense, like you were four aside, so one was the goalie, three defending, and four attacking, right? And the one that ended up goaling win the break, in a sense. So, and that's how it was. And then we start doing that against the other classes.
Yeah, wow.
So it was always a competition, and you
Okay.
start building that rivalry since you are
Yeah.
really young,
Yeah.
and you start getting to know each other with a juice box. Makes no sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
No,
then-
it's cool. It's like creative. It's
Yeah.
like just play because you want to.
No, and the other one that I do remember now, I don't know if happened at your school. We used to play with a can of Coke, step on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that
Kick
that-
it all around the area.
Yeah, but that was dangerous
That was
Absolutely.
because it had sharp edges. So when you kick it, it could hurt you. Like
Yeah.
when you're a kid, nothing hurts. And the other part was expensive.
Yeah.
Was expensive than the juice box. So
Yeah, for
you
sure.
know many times, but you didn't have to blow it. So
Yeah. No, in my case, it was always soccer, and
we have to start calling it football. Sorry,
football.
The proper
okay.
name.
Okay, that's all right.
that's what I think. So.
Yeah, I'm trying
It is
to.
like soccer. It's
We
like,
are in Australia. you know,
Yeah,
so
no,
we-
like I'm like, look, it is football, but like soccer is association of football, and it's just soccer for sure. But on
That's
the
okay.
You know that in Córdoba City, it's another city I live
Yeah.
in Argentina. They call football to the ball,
Okay, and how do you call the sport?
football as well.
Okay,
But it's like, has anyone brought the football?
okay.
Like, you know, to refer to the ball.
Oh, okay, to the
Yeah.
actual ball. So what?
Yeah, which is weird in Argentina because anyone would call the ball like
Ball.
pelota, like ball in Spanish, you know,
Ah.
and they call it football.
Ah, okay, wow.
You don't know how to kick the football.
Okay.
The ball, you know?
And how do they leave it in like because part of his particular story he then went to study to Buenos Aires.
Yeah, I lived, I think, 8 years in Buenos Aires.
Okay.
Then I met my girlfriend, and she's from Córdoba, which is a kind of really special city in Argentina, because it's like all different, even the way of the way they speak, you know.
Really?
And
Okay.
yeah, they have a really nice way to speak Spanish, and really different to any other part in
Oh,
the
wow.
country. And it's a big city as well. Must be like the second city in Argentina, or the third one. And well, what I can tell you my experience, I was much older when I went to Córdoba, but I guess they are like really passionate, and something that that surprised me a lot was that I thought I was gonna find supporters of Cordoba's team, but that they were gonna just go for another teams as well, you know, like for an important team in Buenos Aires. And I surprised because actually they were so deep into their clubs, you know, and
Wow.
they didn't need to see another club, you know.
Wow, okay.
I thought they were gonna say like, yeah, I go for Talleres or any other team in Cordoba, but I like River or Boca, which are like the biggest ones in the country. But no, they really love soccer, and their teams are so important, you know. So
Well, actually, Talleres
Yeah.
is the third team with the biggest amount of fans in the country, I
well,
believe,
it's
right? Is that
I don't really know
the fact?
yeah, exactly. But I can tell you, I used to live like really close from the stadium, and watching the people coming out of the stadium every Sunday was a show itself. You know,
Yeah,
it was
okay.
unbelievable. You know, with all the flags and the colors, you know, and they were all singing in buses, and were like buses and buses and buses with people
Wow.
inside, like
Yeah.
you know, singing songs
Wow.
of the show. It was unbelievable. So
That is very cool.
I can remember drinking a beer in the balcony of my house, seeing that kind of scene, you know, that
Yeah.
scenario. So yeah, that's
A
the
beer,
thing.
not Fernet?
Well,
Wanna
as
tell
well.
the people about Fernet?
yeah. Well, Fernet, it's an Italian drink, but Cordoba has the particular thing that they are the mostly, I think, they
The biggest consumer
biggest consumers in the world of that drink.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
by
So-
far.
Yeah.
It's like
Even more than in
In
Italy.
Italy, yeah, okay.
So yeah, it's like funny. They love it, and I love it too as well. So yeah, I can say I don't remember right now, but yeah, beer Fernet something like that.
Okay.
But it is like if you 100% relate. I don't know if you have that here in Australia.
Like local beers.
I wouldn't say it's different. Like, it's Córdoba equals Fernet.
Yeah.
It's like
Everyone associates
like
that.
you associate Italy pasta in a sense.
Okay.
It's Córdoba equals
Yeah.
Fernet. It's
Wow.
like it's
Yeah.
massive
And a joke, because they are really
Okay.
funny, they are like dodgy,
Yeah.
you know, like, yeah.
and the accent. They have a very particular accent. So
Yeah.
and then so
Yeah, it's
would you
different.
have
It's different, and it's funny as well. I couldn't or I couldn't imitate them, but it's really funny how they sing in the stadiums and the things they say to players when they are angry and all that stuff. You know,
That
it's
is
totally different
Yeah,
than
okay.
the people in Buenos Aires.
Really?
Yeah.
Like.
It's-
what's the difference?
The accent and the words they use to
Okay.
say something to a player and to support or to say something negative because they are angry.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like different, like it's a particular way they have.
Who did you go to the stadium to in Córdoba?
To all of them, yeah.
Oh, you went to
Because actually I couldn't choose a team in Córdoba. I had pressure from my partner's family because they are divided in two. Half of it goes for a team and the other half for another team. They have like 3 important teams in Córdoba, mostly. And they were like, hey, you gotta choose. Come on, now you live here, you gotta say who you are gonna go for. And I was trying to think, but we, the River Plate fans, we have something special with Belgrano de Córdoba, which is one of these teams, because they played against us the last match before we went to the second division for our first time. So I couldn't choose that one.
Yeah, no.
But at the same time, at that moment, they were playing the first division and Talleres was playing like the second or the third division.
Okay.
So it was like I can't go for Talleres because they are not even playing the first division, you know. So finally, I decided not to go for no one, for no team, because I said to myself like, I have my own team. Why do I have to choose another one?
Yeah,
so I just said like, okay, I'm for
we don't choose another team. We have one team.
exactly. That's it.
Yeah.
Where the other ones are expecting me to.
Were you living in Córdoba when we got relegated?
No, in Buenos Aires. 1 year before going to Córdoba.
Okay.
But of course, everyone was joking with me and saying.
How was
things.
that?
It was like it was hard because it was my father-in-law and my couple.
You couldn't say
and I could,
fuck
yeah,
you.
exactly, fuck off. But yeah, I don't know. It's part of the thing. We are all the time like playing around with that. Like saying things to the opponents or to the other all the time. Where how would you call it in English? Like cargando.
Banter.
Making fun of the other,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, something like that.
yeah, banter. And to put it in context.
Sorry if I'm
Oh,
speaking
no,
too much.
no, it's-
No, the contrary. That's what we're looking for.
Yeah.
To put it in context, there's 2 big teams, River and Boca Juniors, right? The 2 main ones. And we were always bantering each other, right? Regarding, no, I'm the biggest. When River got relegated, there's a lot of people who said, and to put it in a way, I would say more than half the population of Argentina are from River Plate or Boca Juniors. Like at least 2/3. So you
Wow.
can think of the magnitude of it. But a lot of people say that when River Plate got relegated, that's where football ended in Argentina in a sense, because you couldn't make fun of the River Plate to a lot of River Plate fans because they were like, okay, let's fight. I don't give a shit that you're my friend, and I do have friends that some friends make a joke on WhatsApp on a group or something like that. And I wait for you at your doorstep. Right? I don't give a shit who you are. You don't make fun of with this in particular. Would you agree on that or not?
Yeah,
a lot of people stop like the making fun to each other
changed?
I don't know if it was that. What I do believe is that in a way there wasn't anymore the classic,
Yeah,
the first
the
division.
end, yeah.
So I don't know if it's classic the name.
No, I get it. Yeah,
Yeah.
like
the
Clasico, Madrid,
exactly,
Barcelona.
exactly.
How would you
yeah.
say it in English?
Like I think it's a derby, like the local
Yeah,
derby.
Derby.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. So I believe, of course, they were like, making like I could say like making jokes with us, but at the same time, too many of them said to us like, "Hey, at the end of the day, we're not happy because we cannot fight against you. We're not gonna play this season. It's all a show
Yeah.
that wasn't gonna be there anymore."
Yeah.
So I
That's like
felt
the
it was like that.
entertainment.
We need each other.
Yeah,
I
like that.
It's like that.
Do you have such a rivalry here in Australia in any sport?
Yeah, I'd say probably the biggest rivalry maybe in sport at that level, maybe in Australia. It's a couple of things I'm thinking of, but this one, so like it's a rugby game, and it's Queensland versus New South Wales.
The state of
So-
origin.
Yeah, so state of origin is probably that classic rivalry, but in football, I would say maybe they're not necessarily local derbies. They could be like Melbourne Victory versus like Adelaide United.
Okay.
That could be like a pretty big derby, or even but Melbourne City and Melbourne Victory is a big one. Melbourne Victory have a lot of fans.
Okay.
And so they're probably one of the biggest clubs.
Who are the biggest clubs in Australia?
In football?
Yeah.
Melbourne Victory, Sydney FC,
Okay.
and Western Sydney Wanderers. Western Sydney Wanderers are sort of like Melbourne Victory. Their fans are very, very passionate,
Okay.
super vocal. The atmosphere at a Western Sydney Wanderers game is pretty crazy,
Okay.
and same with Melbourne Victory. So when I guess the two Melbourne teams play against Melbourne City and Victory, that's a good rivalry, and same in Sydney with Sydney FC and Western Sydney Wanderers. But Adelaide United have like an incredible team base and fan base and a great atmosphere.
Okay.
So when a couple of those teams play each other, it's like intense, but
Okay.
yeah, I think it is probably the local derbies
Okay.
that really.
Okay.
But when I was thinking about when you guys got relegated and you were talking about that, I had a friend at work. He was a Liverpool fan,
Okay.
and I think it was maybe a couple of years ago, and Everton were about to get relegated.
Yeah.
Like they were in the bottom three, and I think they saved themselves like maybe in the last match week this season. They won a game, and they just
Just
avoided
stayed.
relegation.
Yeah.
But I was saying to him that that I was hoping they got relegated. I don't hope that now. I'm sorry, Everton fans. I was like getting biased because my friend was from Leeds
Okay.
and they didn't like Everton. Anyway, he was like, "No, I want them to stay up," and I'm like, "But Everton is in Liverpool, right? So the
Right.
local derby is Everton Liverpool," and he's like, "No, it wouldn't be the same without." The Premier League, First Division
Absolutely.
would not be the
Yeah.
same without Everton. I don't like them, but I don't want them to be relegated.
Yeah,
and I
for
was
sure.
like, oh, okay.
I don't agree. I
I
don't
you
know.
wanted them like
Sometimes the rivals' misery is even bigger than your own joy, right?
Yeah.
Well,
But I don't know. But when it happens, I think there's something that
Like you miss? Yeah, no,
I mean,
get
something that
yeah.
appears, and it's that. Like I don't know if it isn't compassion. It's just about like being able to live that intensity that she was talking about. I see it that way,
Yeah.
and it happened.
yeah, I don't agree.
It happened to
Sorry.
me with some Boca Juniors fans
Yeah,
at
okay.
those times. that they said to me like, yeah, I'm really happy. You're in the second division,
Yeah,
but
maybe that's because Boca and River Plate are from Buenos Aires, right? So all of my friends that are either River or Boca used to go to the stadium in a sense. So
yeah.
maybe living in Cordoba or Tres Arroyos, like you're saying, it like you are really waiting that match,
Absolutely.
like the El Clásico, like we call it, right? But they annoy me so much when we lost, right? And we annoy them so much when we beat them,
For sure, yeah.
right? Like that. Well, I don't know. Maybe it's just my own experience, and maybe I'm just an asshole. I don't know.
No,
but-
no,
But you're
no.
happy, like you would be happy if Boca
Boca-
Juniors like got relegated.
100%. I'm
Yeah,
happy
yeah,
today
yeah,
because
yeah.
they couldn't classify to
Yeah.
the Copa Libertadores, which
Okay.
is our Champions League from South
Yeah.
America, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. And if there's extra ingredients to, like for today, the coach from the Peruvian team that eliminated them, used to play for River Plate, so they hate him,
Yeah.
and those sort of things. Like they went to penalties, and at the very last minute they swapped goalkeepers, so everyone is questioning why
That
they
was-
swapped the goalkeepers.
That was really weird. I've never seen that in my whole life.
Oh really?
Like swapping the
when? Like just before penalties?
Exactly.
last minute.
The last minute, and it was because
Because
the goalkeeper requested, so now everyone is questioning why the goalkeeper. All the noise around it, I
Yeah.
just love it. For me, it's
Yeah.
music to my ears.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's how we live it. Like, and then and in 4 months in June, the FIFA Clubs World Cup is occurring. That
Yeah,
both River and Boca classified,
Wow.
and I want them to fail, of course, right? So
Yeah.
this stumble makes it harder for them to recover for the World Cup in a sense. So nothing.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, Boca Juniors, but if
Yeah.
you're a true fan, you will say exactly the same about River Plate. I'm sure
Yeah,
about
well, I can sort of relate. So I'm an Aston Villa fan, and I follow, I guess, a lot of what other Aston Villa fans are saying. And so our local rival team is Birmingham City,
Okay.
and they're not doing so great. They're actually owned by an American football star.
Okay.
The best quarterback of all time.
Tom Brady.
Tom Brady.
Okay.
So Tom Brady owns Birmingham City. Anyway, last year they weren't doing great in the championship. So the
Yeah.
championship is Division 2, really. And they, I think,
Aston Villa is now in the
Premier
first
League.
in the Premier.
Yeah. so I'm hoping that we get Champions League next year. But
it. You are already in the Champions League.
yeah, but I want us to get it for next year too. And we lost this
Enjoy
morning.
this one at least.
I know, enjoy this one. So
And
yeah.
you already qualified for the round of 16, so you're doing great. You
Yeah.
classified 8th,
Yeah,
so
We
you
have-
won a Champions League, right? Before.
we have won Champions League.
Yeah.
Well, technically it was before it was called Champions League.
Yeah.
But
It
it's
was
still-
It's the
called
same, yeah.
European Cup, yeah. It's
but
the same
it's
thing.
the same.
It is the same.
Which year?
1982.
Okay.
Yeah, so a while ago.
A while ago, yeah.
Yeah.
I have to ask, what do you think of Divo Martinez?
Well, yeah, he's the best. I don't mind that he he's like annoying to other players.
Yeah.
I think that's okay. Like I like players
That's
that
pretty much Argentina.
Because you are
I'd say.
from Aston Villa. Like,
Think about
Divo
that.
Martinez
Like-
is only liked
But
by
I
Aston
also
Villa fans.
feel
or-
like I played tennis, and when I played tennis, like everything was mental. Like it
Yeah.
was about being in your opponent's head.
Absolutely,
and-
yeah.
If you're in your opponent's head and your opponent is being like upset about something, then they play worse.
Mhm.
So I would, when I play doubles, not really too much when I played singles, but in a doubles environment, when you're in a team,
Yeah.
I would like definitely, like the whole point is to be as loud as I can with my partner. And and like intimidating, and he was like, it's a mental game. And I know for a fact, like if the player across the side of the net is intimidating me or saying certain things, like that gets in my head. Like I have to be so strong mentally.
Yeah.
So
Sure.
for him, I think it's an advantage. It's just playing the sport, and I
think he's
I don't think it's like
playing a kind of mental game.
it's a mental game.
Absolutely.
Like
yeah.
I think
is
sometimes
playing
people.
Yeah, for sure. But I mean, he's not being there like emotional. He's being smart.
Yeah.
No,
he's
he's
smart.
fully control of
Yeah.
his emotions,
Absolutely.
but he gets to unbalance the rivals.
Yeah, because I lived in France, so
Okay.
I have a lot of French friends, and whenever I'm hosting something, and we played a French team last year in the Europa League,
Okay.
so it's the division below, or two divisions below the Champions League, actually.
No, wow.
Just one.
No, Europa Conference League.
Ah,
okay.
Conference League. Okay.
So
Yeah.
actually, yeah, Europa Conference League. I think we played Lille. So yeah, he was doing the same stuff. Like he would be
I
celebrating.
remember it. And it was after
and
the
he
World
was
Cup.
like jeering the crowd.
Yeah.
And my
Yeah.
French friends would reply and be like, "Oh, he's so bad." And I'm like,
you
"I'm
were
sorry,
so-
but he's my goalkeeper, and I
You
like
were so
him.
proud.
He's very good."
Thank you, Fran.
You know what? We love him for that so much. Beyond the saves, we love him for that
Yeah, yeah.
because
It's pretty
He's
much
very
how
smart.
we
I think it's smart
live
too.
and how we like the players to be. You know.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Pretty much.
and I have one question to both, right? Like there's always a high class team and a lower class team that represents Aston Villa and Birmingham. Which class is the upper class and which one is the lower class?
Well, to be honest, like I'm not fully sure.
Is it like that in every country?
Yeah, there's always like when
There
you are in a
is, yeah.
city, there's one that is more higher class and one that is more popular one.
Yeah, but I don't know if in England, for example, it's
Well,
like
I
that.
think
Or here, for example.
Yeah,
Well, I know
Manchester United is the high class and City is the popular one,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I don't
Or
know
in
Liverpool and Everton.
In London, like
Chelsea is a
West-
posh one.
Yeah, Chelsea's the posh one, and like West Ham and like Tottenham are more working class.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm gonna say Aston Villa is probably the more high class one, but
Okay.
I am biased. But I also don't know.
Yeah.
I really
Okay.
don't know. Like to be
For
honest.
sure.
That's okay.
I think there's Birmingham has like Aston Villa, and then in the actual city center itself is Birmingham City,
Yeah.
and then just outside of that is West Brom, like
Okay.
West Bromwich Albion,
Yeah.
and then a little bit outside of that is Wolverhampton. as
Okay.
well.
Oh, yeah.
So there's a few different teams in that area, but to be honest, Birmingham is a working class city.
Yeah.
So both are probably
All
working
of,
class.
all of those clubs are.
Yeah, so people from London are like looking down at people when I tell them I go for Birmingham. They're like, "Ooh, Birmingham."
Really?
Like when I like Aston Villa, and I'm like, they go, "Oh, why?"
But you have the Peaky Blinders.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the Peaky Blinders.
That's
So
an advantage.
Aston Villa, Birmingham is actually England's like second city. So it's London, then like Birmingham.
I have no idea about that.
Yeah, so it's the second most populous city.
I would have said like Manchester. I don't know why, or Liverpool.
Yeah, so Manchester, Liverpool are like after Birmingham.
Okay.
So the second biggest city is Birmingham. But it's I think it used to be quite industrial, working class, like Peaky Blinders, and then it is evolving a little bit more, but it's still pretty. It's not particularly classy, probably, to be honest.
In Cordoba.
By the way,
Yeah.
before that question, don't forget it. I wanted to say something to him. You spoke about the state of origin.
Yes.
I went to one of the matches last year, and what I saw there in the stadium was the closest thing to an Argentinian stadium.
Really?
Yeah, of course, you are like different, and when you leave the stadium, you are like persons again, like good people again.
No.
That doesn't happen in Argentina.
Yeah.
But inside the stadium, I couldn't believe it, you know.
Yeah.
everyone was like drunk and saying things to the other one, you know, and
And if you
But they are
walk
right
around-
next to each other.
Yeah,
That
that could
cannot
happen,
happen. That,
Yeah,
like even in
yeah,
Argentina,
yeah,
you don't
it
have
could be much more violent.
only local people can go to the stadiums. Like no
No
away,
fans.
no away fans for security reasons.
Really?
So
Yeah,
you
it's
can
been a
imagine
while
like
already.
before they have their own stand, right, and were like divided, like one they had their corner where the visitors used to go. Now not even anymore
Empty.
because
Yeah, that's interesting. I go to so I went to a Aussie rules football game, so AFL game in Melbourne at the MCG. It was Brisbane Lions versus Essendon Bombers, and in Melbourne it's probably like there's more intense rivalries.
Okay.
And so I didn't know, it's my first time at actually it was my second time at the MCG.
Okay.
But this time, last time I went, my friend was an Essendon fan and I wore his like Essendon gear and I had a member's like card, so I sat in that's where actually the main gates are all for Essendon fans, right?
Yeah.
So I just followed everybody and I didn't notice anything different. But this time, I am a Brisbane Lions fan, and so I was wearing my Brisbane Lions gear, and I had a beanie and a scarf and my shirt, and I was with my sister who was wearing like pretty much the same thing. And then we were just following everyone, and they said, no, you can't enter here. Like this is
not
for the home
you.
fans. Yeah, you have to, if you enter here and like, because I think I had general admission ticket, but you had to enter in a different way and you had to sit in a certain different spot. And I had a specific away like section whereas in Brisbane they don't really do that. The stadiums are not really like that. It's all mixed. Where in Melbourne it was like, no, this part of the stadium is for home fans, and over there that's where you will, like, the away fans will sit.
And were you scared at any point, or
No.
it was just
No.
No, it wasn't.
In Argentina you will be really
Actually, in
scared.
Argentina, they do that.
I was scared at State of Origin one time though.
It was like weird.
It was weird.
I wasn't scared because I was in Australia, but thinking about Argentina, I said to myself, this is gonna end up like really bad. You know? Yeah, absolutely. But I was gonna say in Argentina they do that division, but in the street, far away from the stadium, like 10 blocks from the stadium, the people cannot mix anymore.
Wow.
In that time where we have visitors and home fans. It's
That makes
different.
sense.
Sorry,
No, not at all. I love that. I love that we just ramble away to sports or whatever, right? When were you scared of on the State of Origins? I want to know that.
Oh well, it was quite a long time ago. So Suncorp Stadium has been built, I don't know, like 25 years ago or something, like the new part of Suncorp Stadium. Before that, so I was maybe 13, and my dad used to take me to rugby games.
Okay.
So like rugby union, rugby with 15 players.
Yeah.
The one that Argentina plays.
Exactly.
And so I was used to that, and they were kind of like smaller-ish crowds, and it was nice, and it was really social.
Okay.
It was because rugby is a little bit like posh in Brisbane.
Okay.
In a way. Anyway, so then he took me to a rugby league game. And it was not just any rugby league, because I'd been to the Broncos before. But anyway, this was State of Origin, and it was before Suncorp was developed in like the full stadium that it is. So it was just quite different. Like there was different rules. Like when we got there, just people were throwing beer and like throwing everything at each other. They were throwing it on like the field. It was like it was just like no rules, and really, really intense. And like we had great tickets. We were really close to the players, and they would just like people would walk past to get back to their seats after getting a beer, and then people would be like throwing
Really?
things at them because they were in a blues shirt. So yeah, there was a lot. I was yelling at them.
And
So
it's-
for me,
it's
because I
true
was
that-
like maybe like a 13-year-old girl, I was like,
Yeah.
No,
there's a lot going on.
and you're always so nice and quiet. Also, it's like that environment is
You're not
completely
used to
out
that.
of.
I was
Yeah,
like, what is
absolutely.
this?
And it's different to a normal rugby league match, you know.
Yeah.
I went to both, and
Yeah,
you guys
exactly.
live it like in a really different way.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
I think that's going back. Our clubs, we can state this different. Clubs in Argentina are not corporations. They don't have an owner. They
Yeah,
are
okay.
non-for-profit organizations. They are social clubs.
Yeah.
So the clubs belongs to its members
Yeah.
that they pay this fee. So and there was actually a time where there's 5 big teams in Argentina where one of the teams went bankrupt and it becomes a company for a while, and they are the embarrassment.
Wow.
Like everyone, no, you become a company, and now they went back to a
Really?
non-for-profit. Yes,
Okay.
but it is an embarrassment in a sense. So
Huh.
Now
that
they are speaking a little bit about that
That-
thing back again.
yeah, but they are very reluctant to
Yeah.
do that. But that gives a sense of belonging to us, to our clubs. Like I belong to this club, and I pay my fees to belong to this
Yeah.
club. So
Yeah.
I own it in a way.
Yeah.
Like we are one thing. I think State of Origins has that sense of belonging because it is Queensland against
Yeah.
New South Wales.
Yeah.
I don't know how is it when you like if you were born in Queensland, you play for Queensland. If you were born in New South Wales, you play for New South.
Yeah, pretty much. Although it's kind of different. I think if you were born in Queensland, but you played your first, like maybe when you were 6, you joined a club in New South Wales,
Okay.
You can
and
play
you
for
grew up,
yes.
then you play a.
Okay.
position
So
playing
it's the
club.
first club you were part of.
Yeah.
Which
the first
stadium?
Junior, smallest
Okay.
club, whatever you want in that stadium.
But it is a sense of like you are representing not only your club but your
Yeah.
people.
Yes.
The same occurs in Argentina.
Yeah.
Like each time, like to get today when Boca Juniors lost, the question was, what are you going to say to the fans? Like you have
Yeah,
you
what
have
can
to
you say
answer
to
to
fans?
them,
Yeah.
like and
Yeah,
you have to
okay.
be really careful about what you
Yeah.
answer
Yeah.
because they can crucify you
Mm.
if you say the incorrect thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
no,
at this
that is-
stage, nothing can be said. Actually, it's like
Yeah.
they cannot say anything that would be the proper thing to be
Yeah,
said. You know,
like especially in these cases,
Yes.
anything you say is going to be used against you. It's
Yeah.
sort of like the law.
Yeah, yeah.
Like-
Well, that's what. Not that. This morning, when Aston Villa lost, I looked at Emery's statement,
yeah.
and everyone is just pulling it apart because he lost.
Everything is going to take out of context.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's interesting actually. Like Australian rules football teams are mostly owned by members. So, but our our actual football teams, soccer
Yeah.
teams, they are usually privately owned.
Okay.
And I think some rugby teams, both league and union, are mostly owned by members as well. So like that's something that we look at. We often look at how many members does this club have,
Yeah.
because I think Collingwood Football Club, Australian Rules Football Club, they have like the most members and they make the most money, and they can usually attract the best players because they have so many members every year.
Okay.
And I was thinking when you were talking about in the State of Origins throwing bottles, the other day I have my wife, she has a friend. She's from Argentina, but she stayed in Aussie, and she took him to Argentina, and she took him to the stadium to watch her team.
Okay, cool.
And I asked him, how was the experience? I said, fucking disgusting. She took them to the where the popular stance is,
Yeah.
and right next to the corner.
Oh, okay.
And in Argentina, when a rival goes to shoot a corner kick,
Yeah.
they can receive speed, throw urine at the players,
What?
anything like police goes with the shields
Yeah.
to cover them because they throw them bottles, spit on them, urine.
And
anything to.
we're not allowed to drink or anything like you do here, you know.
Okay,
So
okay.
it's
No
plastic bottles because we cannot have like glass bottles
okay,
there or
yeah,
anything like
wow.
that. And they sell like soft drinks or water inside the
Yeah.
stadium, so it's that. But you can imagine that like full fill to the top, like
Yeah, that's
you
a
know
lot.
from one of the it's
No, it's
Wow.
crazy. So passion is not always good.
Yeah, well, I
And-
mean,
and-
I can't think of. Sorry, what were you going to say?
No, I was going to say, when he told me that, he was like, of course he's right. This is fucking disgusting. Why are we doing this?
Yeah,
But it's so normal in Argentina.
Yeah, but there's part of that I don't feel proud.
No,
of, you know,
not at
of
all.
course, Yeah, that's something to change. I think you
Yeah.
know because it is like disgusting, as you
Yeah.
said. You know, like
I mean, I don't want to single out an Australian club, but I can't think of another example. It's probably happened at other clubs, but Melbourne Victory, probably most recently, at one of their home games, something happened, and their fans threw like a flare onto the field, and I think it may have hit the goalkeeper.
Okay.
And like there was just chaos. Like there was flares, and they were throwing
Yes.
bottles and anything they could onto the field, and then they obviously threw the flare as well.
yeah.
They flew a couple of flares, but one of them hit the goalkeeper.
Oh my god. Yeah.
And yeah, so it was really bad. So then something happened. I think they weren't allowed to have fans at the next home game,
Yeah.
so they could play there.
Yeah,
But
it's so sad, you know, when that. Well, actually, the most famous case, I think, in our country, it's the final.
She
River
doesn't
Boca.
know about it.
Okay, the final of the Copa Libertadores, which is the Champions League for South America, had to be played in Madrid, because actually,
wow.
when the Boca Juniors players were getting into the stadium, the people just started like throwing like stones, bottles, and
Really?
different kind of stuff to the bus,
Yeah.
and some of the players got injured. And
Wow.
They
So
got
it
glass
was like-
into their eyes.
yeah, you
Yeah.
know,
Crazy.
that was unbelievable because we
So-
had to play in Spain.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's-
So
By the way, River Plate won. I just want to
really?
clarify that.
wow, good. Well, in my team, there used to be. He doesn't play for us at the moment, but we used to have like a couple of Brazilians, and obviously we have Divo Martinez
Yeah.
and Emi Buendia. I
Yeah.
think plays for us, but he may be on like loan /
Yeah.
and he's injured. And so we have like some Argentina players and some Brazilian players. And
That's,
when I watched like when Argentina played Brazil, it was like crazy.
Yeah.
And so my Douglas Luiz was playing for Aston Villa, and he's in the Brazil
Yeah.
national team. And yeah, it was just chaos. Like I remember Dibu had to go into the crowd and protect his family or something.
Oh really?
And he like pushed people away to like, it was just like,
Well, Copa America.
was so
but
bad.
wasn't
No, it
against
wasn't
Brazil.
Copa America. It was eliminatoria.
I don't know,
Okay.
maybe
They qualified
were
for the World
playing
Cup.
in Brazil.
Yeah, they were playing in Brazil, and Messi stepped out of the field. I remember that. Do you remember that now?
No.
Yeah, I remember that.
I was just like,
Maybe the Copa America before
Crazy.
that we lost.
No.
Was it that one?
I think it was a qualifier for the World Cup,
Okay.
but I can't remember. But I do remember it. Like,
yeah, I don't really remember all the details either, but I do remember Dibu had to go into the crowd, and they all had to like start protecting their families.
Yeah.
but have you
That's-
seen?
And
Unbelievable.
push people like away, like it
Same
was,
happened to Copa America final, you know.
No, in the Uruguay versus Colombia.
Oh yeah, you're right.
In the last Copa America semi-final, Uruguay was playing Colombia.
yes,
Wait.
in the US.
In the US, Colombia beat Uruguay, and the Uruguayan players went to the stands and started fighting with Colombians to defend their families as well.
Yeah.
So
It's crazy.
it's not only Argentina; it's
Yeah,
all South
yeah,
America.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. No, but yeah, we have to say that we're not proud of that. You know, like this kind of passion
Can take you
should
somewhere.
have like kind of limit. You know.
Yeah.
Like,
I guess there's like varying degrees because I remember I had some Belgian friends come visit and they thought that the stadium was really cool because we don't have any nets.
Yeah.
So in Belgium, I guess some of the stadiums, like, or maybe all of them, because I'm not fully sure, but you have to, like, the crowd sits behind a bunch of nets.
Yeah.
So that like, people don't throw stuff.
That's the same in
Yeah.
Argentina.
Oh, really?
Fences, not nets. Fences.
Okay.
So yeah, 100%. Well, starting to wrapping it up,
Yeah.
but I want to like you live in 3 different places in Argentina.
Yeah.
So I want you to tell us how is it from a small town to the biggest town to the medium town? Is it different how football is felt and the passion towards football on each one of the cities, or do you find similarities? Do you find differently? Like how is it?
I think in general, it's everywhere in Argentina the same. You know, we were like 50,000, as I said before, in Tres Arroyos, and you could see people in the street like celebrating when their team, maybe River or Boca, won. You know, and they went to the in front of the city council or the church or anything like that to celebrate. You know, and that happens. It's if you think about the differences between like I would say the quantity of people in each city, it is the same, you know.
Yeah.
Buenos Aires has like millions, and they all go to the obelisco, and the same happened in Tres Arroyos, and absolutely the same in Cordoba. You know, we are so passionate that we need to
Celebrate.
express it in that way, you know.
Yeah, cool.
So I could say it's pretty much the same. Of course, in Tres Arroyos was like much easier to escape, you know, from the crowd, and that's it. If you get stuck in Buenos Aires in one of these events, you could spend like hours trying to get out, you know, with your car or anything like that. Yeah, I think it's pretty much the same, you know. It's how we are. Yeah.
Do you have something?
I guess like sometimes when I lived in France, I lived in Paris, but then I also lived in Compiègne, which was this smaller city.
Yep.
And before that, in Avignon, which was a smaller city too. And sometimes like I think the smaller cities have like a very friendly atmosphere
Yeah.
for football. When I went to like Paris and watched Paris Saint-Germain play, yeah, there is a lot more security. It's bigger. It's a bit more crazy, and it's sometimes less friendly for families.
Yeah.
Maybe. Whereas like you could bring some kids along too.
Yeah.
And there's maybe more tiny stadiums in the smaller cities,
Yeah.
which made it a little bit friendlier. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But in Australia, I think at least it depends on where you are. Like I said, Melbourne Victory, Adelaide United, Western Sydney. It's very passionate. Like fans are very, very passionate. I would say there are sections of other teams' fans that are passionate, but most of them like are pretty chill.
Yeah.
So you go to a Brisbane Roar game, and we've been to a Brisbane Roar game. It's very chill.
Yeah, very, very chill.
It's very
Like
chill.
being in a coffee,
Yeah.
being in a pub, drinking a beer, and watching the.
Yeah, at the moment, like we used to play really well, and I've been to a final where the Brisbane Roar won, and the whole Suncorp Stadium was full,
Okay, that's
like
a lot of
completely full, yeah. And we had great players, and we had Ange Postecoglou, who was our coach, who's the
Yeah.
coach of Tottenham. But those days hopefully can come back to Brisbane, but at the moment it's not like that. But yeah.
Yeah, in Argentina, when your team wins, of course, stadium is going to be packed.
Mhm.
But we are proud to have a packed stadium when your team is losing.
Yeah.
like, and we chant and we celebrate and we tell we don't go only in the good times.
Yeah,
we
that's
go
important.
regardless.
Yeah.
We go regardless. This is stadium, and we're going to be here to support you. I was more asking if you have another last question to Feli, but thanks for that.
This is a wrapper. Maybe one last question. Have you been to I know you've been to a rugby game, but have you been to a football, soccer game, or
We're here.
in Australia?
Not really.
Yeah.
Just rugby league and rugby union,
Yeah.
which I love.
Yeah.
And that's one last thing maybe to
Yeah.
finish. I don't know if we are
No.
or not, but
I have no idea what time is it. What time is it?
I think it's
It's 7, so we're just on time. It's
Yeah.
the last.
well, maybe it's my final, takeaway. No, I was gonna say as well that I wasn't like kind of football player. Like I wasn't used to go to a social club to practice football. What I used to do is rugby union and tennis when I was a children. But when Juan invited me, I thought to myself like, am I like the right person, right Argentinian person to speak about soccer? Because actually I've never practiced like in a club.
Yeah.
Of course, I used to play like every week with my friends, and then I said like, why not? Because this is how Argentinians are. Like you don't need to practice the sport
Yeah.
to be a fun.
Yeah.
And maybe we have actually a friend who had never played soccer until he's 20. But he was there with us playing and trying to learn, and it's that connection.
40,
Yeah.
not 20.
40, okay,
Wow.
that's worse. But he was there with us trying to learn, and he had that connection, like the soccer, in a way, bring something from home, to us.
Yeah. Okay.
Especially when we are here.
Yeah.
And that's why I said like, why not? Because it's my experience, it's these memories with my father, my grandfather, the way I live the soccer. It's like you're gonna find in Argentina so many cases like me,
Yeah,
It's
wow.
not only the big supporters or the big fans that used to go to stadiums or used to practice sports.
Yeah.
Everyone in Argentina, even though they don't play, they are like in the weekends, watching their teams in TV, so on TV.
Yeah.
So I think that's something really particular and important in Argentina, talking about soccer.
Yeah.
I think that's the perfect wrap up, right? So,
Perfect.
Feli, thank you so much.
Oh my God.
And I hope you had fun. I had a lot
Muchas
of fun.
gracias.
No.
Okay, you're going to learn at least the bad words.
Something at least.
Okay, so
No, thank you guys. Thank you
Yeah.
for having me. It was great fun for me. I'm really happy that this streaming channel is like happening. So thanks so much
Cool.
thanks
for
for
having me.
Thank you.
Football mate.
Futbol mate, subscribe.
Nice work.